Hello, Provo City. I am Superintendent Dow from the Provo City School District. Today is Monday, May 12th. I hope all of you had a fantastic weekend. And those of you that are moms or grandmas or aunts or whatever, I hope you had a fantastic Mother's Day. We only have 8 days left of school, so this is pretty exciting for all of our schools, and our kids and our teachers are definitely counting down. So I just want to make you aware of graduations that are taking place. We have Timpview High School's graduation is on Monday evening at 6 o'clock p.m. at UVU in their convention center in their big UCCU building. We have Independence High School on Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. at Independence. And then we have Provo High's graduation at UVU as well on Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. So we would love to have you join us. Graduation is always a very exciting time of year. Several of you have reached out and asked why there is an early out that was scheduled for the last 3 days of school. This is because we have those graduations on those particular days, and as our high schools are trying to coordinate to get everybody where they need to be, and we have several staff members that need to be at these particular locations. We also need to make sure that we're protecting their prep time as they're finishing grades, and all of those pieces. And our busing system just generally cannot handle just doing an early out for one level because we don't have the number of buses or the number of bus drivers available to do so. So we just needed to do it for all. We will make sure that as we plan for next year that that's communicated much sooner and that we have that ready to go if we have to make any adjustments for that and what that will look like. I know that has created some angst for some individuals, but we appreciate your flexibility and patience, and our principals have been awesome to reschedule some different things and make some different things available for students and just change that up a little bit. Wanted to give you some updates on Wasatch Elementary School. We are continuing to work with Hogan, who is our general contractor. We have already had one third-party entity go through and evaluate some different pieces. They're supposed to provide their final report to us and to Hogan this coming week as we look at a potential redesign of the wall and making sure that we're addressing all drainage issues. We have also asked them to address issues on the other walls as well, because we don't want similar situations happening with those and want to make sure that we're addressing it across the board. We have employed a second third party that has had nothing to do with the project at any point in time so that we can compare their analysis of the situation with the current analysis that we have, as well as the analysis of the subcontractors for Hogan. I appreciate Hogan is working with myself and the business administrator to work through the best solutions that we possibly can and to make sure that not only we get the situation fixed, but we also assign appropriate responsibility where it needs to be and do so in a collaborative effort. We have met with our employee associations and are working through negotiated agreements with them. As you may know, House Bill 267, which had originally banned that, was put on hold as a result of all of the signatures that were received for the referendum. And so the Lieutenant Governor has put that on hold. We're going back to the way that we've always done it, whereas we formulate these negotiated agreements with our associations, and just really appreciate the relationship that we have with our associations. They really do work with us to problem solve situations to make sure that our students are taken care of, that we're compensating our employees appropriately, and we're really looking at and trying to address the concerns and issues that our employees have so that we can truly create a destination district for all. We are excited to announce that we have our CAPS showcase beginning tonight at 5:30 p.m. at the New Skin building. This is our second semester CAPS students. Stands for Center for Advanced Professional Studies. These are students who have been working with real world businesses to develop products or problem solving situations. They've had to learn how to communicate and how to just work in the business world. And so they're going to be showcasing their talent this evening. Tomorrow night, we have a board meeting. Our study session will begin at 4 o'clock p.m. at Shoreline Middle School. So please note the change of location. This is because we have our Teacher of the Year recognition, and so we need a larger facility to be able to do this. We're going to be examining our budget for 2025. So just kind of looking at where our expenses actually laid out and what we had budgeted. We're also going to be talking about preliminary budget talks for 2026, a potential for truth in taxation as we try to catch up our salaries with neighboring districts. We also have several policies that are going to be addressed on a first reading. One of them is going to be about salary supplements for high needs educators, our updates to cell phone policies, updates to inclusive learning environments, which includes processes that were just put in place last Wednesday. And then we also have second readings of policies for school guardians, buildings and facilities, and access to students by law enforcement and DCFS. We also have two really great discussions coming about dual language immersion and some initial studies and data that are coming out as a result of our dual language immersion programs that we'll be utilizing some of this information to really inform some of the decisions that the board hopes to make over the course of the next year. We also have a great presentation on assessment. We hear a lot from individuals that there is a lot of time spent on assessment. You're going to find that there is a perception that there's a lot of time spent on assessment, but we want to dispute some of that and just show how many hours of instruction we actually have and what the purposes of those assessments are, and the data that they provide, so that as we support our schools moving forward, we can address concerns that are emerging. At 6:30 p.m., we're going to start a reception for our Teachers of the Year and our Employees of the Year. We'll have light refreshments and they can take pictures. And then at 7 o'clock p.m., we'll have our business meeting, and that's when our official recognition will take place for our Teachers of the Year, and then we'll finalize our business items. We do have an executive session that will follow that business meeting, and that will take place afterwards to discuss litigation as well as our negotiations. We have a community connections meeting this Thursday at noon to kind of talk a little bit more about some of the ways in which we're trying to close the salary gap between us and other school districts. And then I have received several emails of individuals who have been concerned about after school funding. Traditionally, this has been funded through some federal grants. And those federal grants have had requirements that students that participate in those particular after-school programs have to show a significant increase in attendance as well as in academics to be able to qualify. Some of our school sites did not qualify as a result of that. We know that a lot of our after-school funding is really tied to a lot of enrichment and exciting activities for students. And so we don't have access to that funding anymore as a result of that. That's also probably going to continue to be the case as we move into the 2026-2027 school year. If you've noticed, President Trump's budget does not actually has quite a few cuts for education funding, and we would anticipate that this would be one of those programs that would be subjected to that. So schools can still use discretionary funding for that. Although I will tell you that most principals are trying to use it to reduce class sizes within the school day, to provide more instructional assistance, to provide greater access to STEM activities and the arts within the school day rather than putting those towards after-school funding. We know that those are important programs to families and to educators, but we do have limited resources, and so our priorities are going to what's taking place during the actual school day. So just wanted to make you aware of that. We have heard rumors that there may be additional funding that comes forward next year with some different requirements tied to it. But as I said, that was prior to the president releasing his budget, which included some significant reductions in education funding. So we'll continue to work with our representatives in Washington and to just really communicate those needs. And so as I have more information about that, I'll also share that with you. So if you would like to reach out to your representatives, you can do so to just talk about the importance of these particular programs for our students. And with that, we are winding down the school year. We will see you next week. Have a fantastic week, everyone. Bye now.